Good morning, everybody. We finally
We're
made
here.
it. We're
Oh my
finally
God.
here. Oh man.
We
Monday
tried so hard yesterday, I
we
promise you.
did. We did. But Melon was really messed up. So
That was so
sorry,
weird.
Melon. I know you guys have you paid your paid sponsor of us previously, but your guys' server was definitely down or something because we tried to launch this thing over and over and
Oh
over
yeah.
again and it didn't happen. So just giving you guys a little gas today just because of that. But welcome back, everybody. We are finally having our show. It is Excel today for December 6th, 2022. Actually, probably one of the last episodes we're going to have this year, just because, Joe, I know you're going on vacation soon. I'm going to be going on vacation right after that. So this might be the last one, guys. We're going to try to schedule one more, I think, before then. But
Goodbye,
this is
everyone.
yeah, this is going to be the last episode for 2022. So this won't be the last episode for 2020. This may be the last episode for 2022.
It might be.
We'll try to fit one more in. Yeah, we'll try to fit one more in. But in the States, it is holiday time. It's Christmas and everything like that. Lots of travel, lots of vacation. Here at Learnit, it is everything kind of wraps up for us. So we have like we're constantly going, guys. Like our schedules are full tilt, 40, 60 hours a week every single week except the month of December. So it kind of slows down, and that's when everyone goes on vacation and everything like that. So that's why we will have less shows this month. And that's why we're saying this one might be the last one for the year. I doubt it, but just in case, this might be
We're
the
putting
one.
a holiday schedule somewhere in here.
Yeah. Just some Afraz, I just want to say yeah, thanks for finding the channel and everything like that. I'm glad you've learned so much. We will keep it up. Next year, guys, you're going to see we have a ton of videos coming out. I should have looked at the schedule. The schedule escapes me. There's going to be a lot more Apple stuff though next year, and a lot more Google Workspace stuff. We already have a lot of the Apple stuff already recorded and everything like that, so that's going to be coming your guys' way. For a lot of you that may be using Apple computers at your workplace and everything like that, we are covering numbers, pages, and what's the other one? I can't remember. Not words, numbers, pages. Keynote. That's what it was. Keynote.
Yeah.
Yeah, Keynote.
Slides. Yeah.
Yeah, the slides. Yeah. So we got those covered. We also had Joe also produced a few videos, office videos for the Mac, and I also got somebody else to produce some of those videos for you guys as well. You guys haven't seen him yet. His name is Adam Hill. He's fantastic. Honestly, the videos I've seen of his are just absolutely fantastic. So I can't wait for you guys to see those ones. So if you guys are big Apple fans, those will be coming your way soon. And Mac users, we are going to be focusing on the Office for Mac pretty heavily next year. And then lastly, we're going to be focusing on Google Workspace. Google Workspace Suite has been growing, and the amount of users they've been getting has been growing as well. So it's definitely something that we're going to be focusing on. You guys have training on Looker Studio. That's one I'm not actually familiar with. But I'll take a look at anything and everything and try to get somebody to do the video if we deem that the software is big enough and has a large enough user base. Obviously, we want to create videos that are helpful to everybody. Sometimes there's software out there that can be super niche. Like I've gotten a lot of just like random ones, and I look into it, and it's like construction software that's only used by 5 firms or something like that. So, we're going to focus on stuff that's heavily used and everything like that. So, but I'll definitely take a look because I don't know everything about software. I don't know everything about that's what's being used out in the world and everything like that. I try to be.
Like it's Google. It looks like it's a Google Suite application, very similar
All right.
to Tableau.
It's going to get done then. Yeah, it's going to get done.
I'll
It will get done. Yeah. Then it will get done because we are going to do the full Google Suite workspace. I just haven't had a chance to dive into all the programs and then curriculum built around those. So that's what I'll be doing next. The beginning of next year, Q1 is getting that all built out and then getting the videos made right after that. So that'll all be coming next year. We do have our schedule tentatively planned through up to June of next year. So I can definitely promise you lots of Apple, lots of Office for Mac, Tableau, and also SQL for administrators. This is something that a training that kind of disappeared from the training world. I know they brought the live classes back, but a lot of the video training was actually lost. So we'll be bringing that to you guys as well. So it's not going to build on the query writing and everything like that. It's going to be more in the background on how to add, to administer tools that you use that, that do the background work for those queries. Other than that, channel wise, it's going to stay the same. Courses are still out there. So, if you guys really want to support us and you want to watch the videos ad free, you can purchase those for $4.99 on our channel. You just go to playlists, you'll see the courses, paid courses. Those ones are ad free. So those are there. We are going to be working on quizzes soon. That's something that we're working at. It's another new beta product from YouTube. And those will be quizzes that show up at the bottom. They'll pop up. There'll be a question that pops up in between the video and stuff like that. Those I wouldn't count on those coming out like right away or anything like that, guys. But that's definitely something that's upcoming. And then finally, I don't know if this will affect our regular subscribers or anything like that, but there is a YouTube Educate that's coming out soon too. And that's for our college people and everything like that. You guys might be getting access to some really cool YouTube and Google stuff coming soon. So that's all the updates for me. For the rest of the year, we do have videos planned. We're not going to take any breaks off the tutorials. You guys just might see less live streams. That would be about it. Everything else, as far as the shorts and the tutorials, will be the same. And then just a big shout out to everyone that supported our TikTok. We do have a TikTok, Learnit Training, same deal. If you go on TikTok and Learnit Training, we're there. We've been growing pretty decently there after for a long time. We weren't growing at all. So I just want to thank everyone that's been checking us out there. So yeah, that's my tirade for the morning. That's my rant and rave about the channel and everything that's been going on. It feels like it's been a couple weeks here, and yeah, that's all the exciting stuff we have. So today we got Joe, and Joe has been training on Tableau nonstop. And so he wants to share shares. Did you just come off a Tableau training?
Yeah, I last week I did. It was Thursday and Friday, and it's an amazing application. I mean, it really is. So I thought I'd showcase how all of you can actually utilize Tableau, but it's going to be the free version of Tableau, so you don't have to pay for it, and not a lot of people know about it. It's like a hidden secret. So yeah, I'll kind of talk to you about Tableau Public, and then what we'll do is a couple of different visualizations that I just see in data sets all the time. But yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah, so Tableau used to have the best trial in the industry, I'd have to say. It was 14 days. It wasn't super long, but you got access to everything that they had. I think the only thing you couldn't do was like do full publishing or something like that. But it was like you were able to do just about everything you could, your heart's content. It's not one of those ones where just the base features are free and you have to upgrade for the next really, really strong trial. But they do have Tableau Public now. I think we talked about this in a previous show, and that's fully free from my understanding to use. I don't know
Just
any.
don't put confidential data on there.
Yeah.
It is a
is that the deal? Is that the deal?
Yeah, because it's a public server. So anytime you load a dashboard or any type of sheet on there, everyone in the community will have access to it.
Okay. I get you.
So, yeah, be careful with that.
All right. So it's definitely a great place to practice. Maybe not the best place
100%.
to generate visualizations for your company. Not with company data.
Don't do this. Don't do that.
Yeah. All right. Let me get your screen up and I will let you take it away.
Awesome. Okay. So first off, you'll see here that I have both versions. Of course, I have my original version, which is Tableau. This is one of the newest versions out there as of right now. And then they have Tableau Public, which also is an identical version, except there's a couple of minor features that I would say one of the major features is that you can't publish to your own company server. But one of the minor things is you almost have all the same functionality as the regular version of Tableau. So that's my favorite thing about Tableau Public. And as Ben said before, it is an amazing place to practice. Now, to actually get this Tableau Public, you can just search for it on Google, create your own sign-in information. And then once you do that, and I'll just quickly showcase that before we even get into it, just, search for Tableau Public download. Go over to, tableau.com products public. It's going to ask you to sign in. So, of course, sign up for Tableau Public. And then you'll just put in your information and you can create an account. I already have an account, so I could just sign in real quick. Hopefully that's the password. I don't remember. All right, there it is. What I really like about this is that they do showcase visuals for the day. They have an advent calendar. I think that's awesome. I mean, some of the things that they just have on here is just creative. But yeah, so essentially this is the stuff that's trending, so you can get ideas of what kind of visualizations you want to look at. And these are people just like me and you, just people using Tableau Public, updating their fake information or even information that might make sense for some people. But yeah, I love this. But to actually get it, once you sign in, it'll look like this. You can use the online version of Tableau Public, same exact features as the, of course, desktop version. But I do always recommend downloading desktop. It's just easier. So you'll go to Create, download Tableau Desktop Public Edition, download it, save it on your desktop, and this is where we get right here, Tableau Public. Now, when you open it up, once again, it's almost identical to the original Tableau. So everything looks the same. And you'll see that there are some vizzes of the day, so you could see what's trending. But really, we're not going to focus on that. We could do another video on like an introduction to Tableau and the interface and everything. But I just want to showcase a couple of really awesome tools and just a couple of different visuals that I find are really important to have. So what I'm going to be utilizing today is a Microsoft Excel file. But as you can see, we can access database, PDF files, JSON files, text files, spatial file, so anything that makes sense to you, statisticals. So I'm going to just go over to Microsoft Excel. I'm going to use this example data. And it's going to load it into what's known as the data source. Now, the data source is nice because you can access it whenever you want to, just to see what kind of data you're using. So I'm just going to be using, out of this example data, this Excel file had 3 worksheets. If you ever want to see what the worksheet was, just click on this little icon right here, and that will showcase what the actual worksheet was looking like. So I'll just click on it. I'm going to view the data. I see we have here some categories: cities, country, customer name, order dates. Some nice data. Now, if your data was ever messed up, let's say this was pushed down your headers or something didn't come over right, they actually have a really amazing feature called Data Interpreter, where it cleans up your Microsoft Excel workbook for you before they load it in. I do recommend using this, so I'll just use it. And now I can take data, because this is the worksheet I'm going to use, and just simply drag it here to the table. Now, it sort of creates 2 instances: a diagram chart up front where we can add more pieces of data and we can create what's known as noodle connections. You'll see the little noodle there connecting this. It could be all different types of joins, by the way, when you're creating these relationships, whether you want to do left outers or equal to joins. You can use a bunch of comparison arguments. But we'll just work with one piece of data today. You'll see here all the different data types and fields that you have. For instance, it'll tell me that the row ID is a numeric value. They'll tell me that the order date is a date value. So we can see here all the different pieces of information we have. It'll tell you when things are a certain location, or if it's just a normal string of text. Now you can review your data here, but once you're ready to start making the visuals, you're actually going to go to the worksheet, and you'll see they even give you that little highlight and say, do you want to go to a worksheet? Now, the way that Tableau works is each worksheet will house one of your visuals, and you can have as many worksheets as you want. Once you create all your worksheets, you can then combine them onto what's known as a dashboard. So that's one of the favorite parts about Tableau, is that you can really customize each visual until you're ready to create a dashboard from all the visuals you created. So it's sort of like getting all your ingredients together before you bake the cake. Then they also have something known as story mode, where you can really explain the story of how the cake was baked, right? if we were going with that cake bake analogy. So really, really cool features here. But what I want to showcase right now is just a couple of ways to create visuals. So the first thing that I want to do is I just simply want to create what's known as a text table. Text tables are not, I wouldn't say the hardest thing, but they can get a little crazy in terms of the way you want them to look. Let's say, for instance, that I wanted to create a table that had, I don't know, maybe the category, what we're selling in the columns. And you'll notice when I put it into the columns here, it's going across the columns. So anytime you see columns, it means that it's going across the columns. And anytime you see rows, it means it's going to go down the rows. And anytime you see marks, well, you could think of that as marks of data inside of your visual. So really, what are we just making? Just a nice little visualization here. So it's all pretty much nice and neat. Now, let's say, for instance, I want categories. So I have furniture, office supplies, and technical or technology. And I decide I also want to see how much furniture, office supplies, and technology did I sell per region. So I'm going to take region and put it onto the rows. Now, we don't have actual data in here yet because we haven't actually taken any numeric data to put in here. So what I'll do is I'll take the sales, and you're going to notice that anything that's numeric is on the bottom. They're also known as measures. So measures are just things that can be aggregated, whether you want to sum them up, whether you want to average them, whether you want to count them. These are known as measures. And on the top, we have what are known as dimensions. So dimensions are like categorized things, like regions can be categorized, dates could be categorized, January, February, March, April. So these are dimensions. One of my favorite things about Tableau is that you can switch these back and forth. If you want to change something, like let's say I just simply want to see how many orders did we actually have, instead of just trying to figure out how many numeric orders we had, we can take order ID, change it to a measure, and then we can make it a count. So I can change that to an actual count instead of doing, like a dimension of it. So that's one of my favorite things. You can convert them to dimensions, or you can convert them to measures as well, back and forth. So let's just say, though, that I want to see how much I made in each region per category. I'm going to take sales, and I'm going to put it on the marks. But where do I put it exactly? Well, if I want to do color, I can do a color scale. That doesn't really help me out, though, because it's just showing me some colors. And unless I hover over it, it doesn't really tell me until I hover over how much we made in sales. So most likely, that's something I wouldn't be doing. So instead, what I would do is I would change the sum of sales from color to size. Well, once again, it's not doing much for me. What about labels? Well, look at that. Now I have an actual label that's telling me exactly what each one is. And I'll just come over here to move this over so I could see all nice. Or you can come up to the top and make this fit for the entire width, like that. Now, one of the things that can confuse people when making these tables is, let's say, for instance, that you want to add more information here. I don't only want to see the sum of sales, but I also want to see how much we made in profit. Well, in order to do this, what I would have to do is take profit and add it to the text. But once again, this isn't really helping much visually because which one's profit and which one's sales? There's no labels here. So when you're creating text tables, it's hard to actually label things. Yeah, you can hover over it and see, profit was negative 287 and then the sales was 163. But maybe I want some labels here. When you're dealing with multiple measures in one visual, they have a way that you can use the measure values, which the measure values is a generated field that is simply containing all of these at once. So if I took measure values and put it into the text instead, like this, it's going to give me all the numbers, and they don't really look good, right? So we don't want to do that. We want to just simply look at the profit, and we want to look at the sales. So I'm just going to take the rest of them out of here. But once again, we're stuck in the same situation where it doesn't look good. So what we're going to do is we're going to take measure name, which is simply the names of the measures. So the measure values are the actual numbers, and the measure names are just simply the names, like profit, quantity, and sales. So since it's still not looking completely the way I want it, I'm going to take measure names, and instead of having it as just the details here, I can put it into the rows after region. And look at that. That looks actually a lot nicer. I can see here profit, boom. Sales, boom. So this is just a nice way to create a text table. And not only that, you can do this with normal, instead of text tables, just normal visuals. Like, let's do another example. I'll just add another sheet here. What I can do is, let's say that I want to add category. Let's go category to the columns. And let's do sales and profit to the rows. You see what happens automatically? It splits them. Now I have a whole visual for sales and a whole visual for profit. You might say, Joe, I love this. Or you might say, Joe, no, I want them next to each other, which makes sense because maybe I'm comparing profit and sales. So how would I do this? Well, I would remove sales and profit. And since I want to use two measures, I would use measure values in the rows. Then I would just take out whatever I don't need because automatically it adds them all. I just want sales and profit. And look at that. Now they're being compared to each other. But once again, they're sort of being a little weird with the way they look. And that's because we have measure names. And it's putting the measure names as the details. Instead, I would take the measure names and I would probably put them in the columns. That way now I can see them next to each other. Profit, sales, profit, sales. So always remember, the measure name is simply the name of the measures, profit, quantity, sales, target sale. And measure values is the actual numeric values. So when you use them with each other, this is what happens. It creates an amazing visual that you can utilize. If you liked it the other way, then of course you can do it the other way. But a lot of people like looking at information in a comparative way. Now, I'm not finished there. We actually have so many cool things we can do within Tableau besides just doing regular text tables or just doing simple columns. What I want to do is I'm going to add a new sheet and I want to show you a tree map. Now, the reason why this is like super exciting for me is tree maps are great visualizations, but in Tableau, tree maps actually have further functions. Let's say, for instance, that we want to do a tree map. And let's do, I don't know, let's do a visualization that will allow us to quickly see which category contributes to the entire company the most in sales. So I'm going to build one by taking the subcategory, let's put it into details. So we'll take subcategory into details. And you'll see it's just a bunch of just squares, which doesn't really do much for us. We can also drag the sales to the colors. Looking a little better. But now I want the size of the sales as well. So I'll drag sales to size as well. And that's going to create our tree map because we're saying the information, the details of each of these squares is coming from the subcategory. So this is chairs, this is phones. The size of the squares is for my sales, and the color of my sales is for sales as well. So this is a nice little tree map. The one thing I really don't like, though, is that we just see rectangles and no labels. So I'm going to take subcategory, and I'm going to move it to label. And now we have labels as well. Tables, accessories, phones. And we just created an awesome looking tree map. But here's the really cool thing about tree maps. You can actually change them to two other visuals. Not only can a tree map just be a tree map, but we can also build what's known as a bubble chart. And to do it, it's actually quite simple. We'll go over to the marks, click the little drop down, And I'm going to change it. Instead of it being a square, which usually it's square or rectangle to create a tree map, we'll do circles. And when you do circles, it instantly changes it to a bubble chart, which I love this visualization. Not only that, I can also take this and change it into a word cloud by clicking the drop down again. And instead of doing squares or circles, I'll do text. How awesome is that? So we can get really creative on how we want to utilize our visualizations. Once you do have your visualizations, though, what you'll then be able to do is create a new dashboard. Now you'll see the 3 visualizations right here. Just click and drag them where you want them to go. Now, I don't like the way this happens because it's automatically locking everything. Instead of doing that, that's known as tiled mode. What we can do is floating mode. And I really like floating mode because you can pick and choose where you want everything to go. So the first thing I'll do is just change the size of this dashboard by clicking the drop down. They have all different types of sizes. Automatic, which is my favorite because no matter what or who the person is using this entire dashboard, whatever they're using, whether it's a MacBook or a cell phone, it will automatically convert the image to it. So it will size to any screen it's displayed on. So I do like automatic size. But of course, you can do specific sizing, like either a fixed size, and then you can choose, what kind of computer. Is it a generic desktop, a desktop browser? What are you? Is it going to be a PowerPoint? But for me, automatic works. Now I can change this from tiled because still, if we do tiled, it looks like this. You could do this, but once again, I like to actually choose my own fittings here. So I'm going to just erase everything from here. I'm going to change it from tiled to floating. And now that it's floating, when I click and drag, I can pick and choose what size this is. Maybe I want this to be here. I think that looks good. I want this one to be here. A little bigger, of course. I think that looks great. And I also want this one to go right here. Now I'll just add a title. I'll call it Joe's Dashboard. Make sure you spell dash right. Maybe center it, bold it, underline it, whatever you like to do. And then if you want to change the actual sheet 2, sheet 3, remember, you would have to do that by going to the actual sheet. Then we can come up here, click, and rename the sheet whatever we want. And there we go. We now have our own dashboard, and this is pretty great information that we're looking at. Profit and sales on an actual text table, and then how much that we made in sales per subcategory. With that said, this is just only a couple things you can do in this Tableau. It is just so amazing. There's so many more different visuals out there, different ways that we can create, of course, calculated fields and all that fun stuff, and also how we can create stories. But I hope you enjoyed. This is just, one of those things that is just exciting, and there's just so much you can do with it. And thanks, yeah.
As always, very informative, Joe. I go ahead and hide your screen there. Now you're just a big J. But yeah, I hope you guys learned a lot about Tableau. Always informative. I like that word one, that word visualization that you had there.
Word clouds, yeah, they're
word clouds, cool. Yes, word clouds. I was trying to think of the other word. This is not coming to me. Just want to say thanks to amazing Jacob, Donatus, and of course Priyanka. Thank you so much for joining us today. See you guys in the chat there. I hope I didn't forget anyone else. Pramod, also Afia, and Afraz. who was very first person early this morning. So just want to thank you guys. And also, thank everyone that's been supporting the channel and everything like that. We had another great year. We actually surpassed all our numbers from last year. So just want to thank everybody for making it another successful year for us here at Learnit Training. And like I said, next year we have a lot more stuff coming for you guys, and we hope you learn a lot from it all. We're already at time, so normally we would do some questions and stuff like that, but I also know that Joe has a class to teach right after this, and I actually have to go into San Francisco to set up for a commercial shoot. So you guys probably won't see that commercial. That's something that's kind of just going to be for our clients, but it's it, so but I have to do it today, so
Have
I gotta
fun.
hit the road soon. All right, thanks everyone for joining us today. Again, we will try to have one more show for you this year. No promises, because again, Joe's going on vacation and I'll be going on vacation soon, so we'll try to squeeze one more in before the end of the year. But if we don't see you guys, have a happy new year, and maybe we'll see you next year or in a couple weeks here. Grant, yeah, thanks a lot, Grant, for
Thank
joining
you.
us. You can watch the show right after. Just reload the screen and it'll start over for you. All right, have a great weekend, everybody, or week, I should say. It is only Tuesday. So
Thanks,
everyone have a
everyone.
great week, and we hope to see you soon.